very simple to implement, as most of it matched the system we already had in place for braking. Now we're going to do a quick demo of this running.
Okay. Right. Filming.
Alrighty, so I'm going to explain this functionality of the dome car. So on the inside of this back wheel here, there are 4 magnets mounted at positions 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180, and 270. On the inside of the wheel is a magnetic sensor, kind of like a reed switch. And whenever the magnet passes by the sensor, it sends a little pulse to our microcontroller unit, and that's where it counts and does all the data processing for the speed and distance. Moving.
Nope.
Ready.
Ready? Change.
Yep.
One eternity later.
Or going straight? I don't know, but it drives. As you can see, no one's doing anything, hitting keys, nothing, driving under self-power. And please don't hit the cones. We also can go in reverse, though that is really, really slow. Probably as slow as a turtle wandering about. I don't know that because I was never allowed to get a turtle, despite my deepest desires.
It's been a long past 2 days. So, because we did this pretty much in the past 2 weeks, we may have blew our budget, so we'll take donations if you want at the end.
Thank you very much. Now, time for another trivia question. A guy named Robert Moog invented something called the Moog synthesizer. You may have heard of it. Before he invented this, what other very popular instrument did he invent?
The third.
That's right. What size of shirt would you like?
Medium, please.
I don't have that.
Large.
I have that.
Thank you.
All right. So, next up, more sparks. Excellent. We have a Van de Graaff generator with a good friend of the chapter, the IEEE chapter, a guy named Larry Nelson. He will be presenting his Van de Graaff generator.
Larry Nelson. I've been coming to these spark parties for a few years now, and I'm normally the one that brings the Van de Graaff that creates the sparks, and normally I electrocute a few people in the audience. But I've been doing that for a few years, so this time I thought I'd change it up, and I looked up a couple of other neat experiments we could do with a Van de Graaff. And what I have found so far is stuff that has to do with what happens when you have light charges on particles. And what a Van de Graaff does is it collects similar charge all on the dome of the top of that machine. And those particles just want to get off of that dome. And apparently there's a couple of neat little tricks you can do to see what happens, just how much those particles want to get off the top of that dome. So some of the new toys I have this time is we have pie pans, we have some yarn, and we have a bubble gun. I know, the bubble gun, yes, that's the most exciting one. So before I play with the new toys, I'm going to just show the kind of sparks we can create with the Van de Graaff and what kind of charge we're actually going to be putting on this. Yeah, maybe we should turn that off. We got a good charge. Got a little bit of charge on the bottom. So as you can see, we got a good amount of sparks on there, good amount of charge. That means that the room is nice and dry so that we're not leaking any electrons. So now what we're going to do is see just how much force these electrons have. So I have tried this at home with a single pan, but we're going to try it with a few pans and see what happens. I'll start with the single pan just to make sure it's still working. So when we energize this, the particles are all going to go on there, and they're going to want to leave this top piece as quickly as possible. So now let's see what happens when we throw all of them on. Just because I have no idea. I learned all of these this morning. So we're going to find out how good some of these experiments are. Now the next one is called the dancing string. So we'll see if this works. Now it's the same principle. It's all about the charge wants to leave this. And this is going to be what makes it dance. Well, first I'll try it without this and see. Let's see what happens. And then we'll add the dancing part after. It just wants to leave it right away. It's got a little bit of a kick to it. So now, the next one is that the bubbles should take on the same principle as the string and the pie pans. They'll want to go right to it at first because they're going to have a combination of negative and positive charges. But then they're going to get so many negative electrons on it that they want to be nowhere near that. So they should fly into it and then fly away if they don't pop. We'll see what happens. First I got to make sure we have bubbles. pretty good. I don't intend to electrify the entire audience. If anyone's got some really light, fluffy hair that wants to come up and feel it, I'll leave that as my final demonstration of particles wanting to separate. So do we have any volunteers with some light, fluffy hair? Ah, our favorite person from last year. We'll have you stand on this. Let me slide this over to you. And you don't have your cell phone in your pocket. Cell phone out of pocket just for safety of the cell phone. Not worry about it. All right. I think we're good. Wipe off some bubbles. All right, I think we're good now. All right, so before I turn it on, hand on it, palm flat. Yeah, we got a little charge. And as long as you don't release it, you shouldn't get zapped. Oh, it's starting. The hairs are starting to move. Yeah, you get your hair a little. It seems to be working good. Now we can make the hair all drop right away, but you might feel a little tingle. Ready? Sure. There. All right, we're all set. All right, that concludes my demonstrations for this year.
Right then, another act, another trivia question. A Van de Graaff generator uses a rubber band to generate electric charge. A rubber band, yes indeed, a rubber band, which is an insulator, but when exposed to a magnetic field, can produce electric charge. Tell me, what is the name of a substance which is an electrical insulator, but when exposed to an electric field, produces electric charge? Yep. Semiconductor? Sorry, incorrect. Silicon. That's